Hey, iTalki teachers! Are you looking for some reading activities to try out with your iTalki students? Well, you came to the right place as usual. So today I'm going to give you a few activities which I have tried with my students. Hit the subscribe button and let's dive in. Beautiful. So as usual, I'm providing activities and material which I've tried with my own students. And that means that I have gotten feedback on these activities and I've actually watched what they have done, how they have affected my iTalki students. I've noticed improvement in my students from using these activities in their reading comprehension. And I've just noticed a great vibe in class from using these activities. So I really hope that both you and your students enjoy these activities. So the first activity is what I call a virtual real world task. And basically I'm trying to expose my students to things that they would probably be doing in the real world anyways. That means outside of class, online, right? So one possible thing, depending on if you're a movie buff or not, is actually going on IMDb, which is a website where you could see different reviews for movies, right? So if that's your cup of tea and if it's your student's cup of tea and you're chatting about movies and cinema anyway, this could be the perfect activity to kick things off. It could also be a great task for homework. So what I do with my students, I basically task them with going to IMDb to look up a movie, right? They could choose any movie or any TV show they would like, to go through the reviews and to find 2 reviews that they agree with and one review that they disagree with. After that, we get some writing practice in, and your students will actually respond to one of the reviews which they disagree with. So on IMDb, you're not able to directly respond to somebody, so they would basically not really throw shade, but in their comment, they would mention somebody who had already said something that they disagree with and explain why they disagree with that point. So if you would like to learn more about these virtual real world tasks that I'm incorporating into my teaching, then head on over to my other YouTube channel where I am actually going to focus on teaching students about these virtual real world tasks. And basically my goal is to make my students more aware of how they could learn English in ways that they enjoy and in ways that are more relevant to their everyday lives. So whether it be IMDb or any of the other websites or apps that I use on my other YouTube channel, they could hopefully find more connections between their English learning and their English use in everyday life. Activity number 2, correct a student's homework. I know it's something we don't think about a lot because our students are all separate. We're in these one-to-one classes on iTalki, so it feels like you're kind of in your own cubicle or your own bubble. But why not create a community with your students? That's what I've done by creating a Telegram group chat for my students to exchange knowledge and to complete different activities. But another thing that you could do is ask your students first for permission to share their work. And if your students give you permission, then you could share their homework with other students, right? So for example, student A completes a homework task on the family, and then you show it to student B, and student B has to correct it. And you could do this vice versa as well. Pair students up depending on their level. Right? So again, in this case, the students are kind of doing the work for you. And in this case, you're not just giving them feedback on their writing skills, but you're also giving them feedback on their feedback skills. In other words, their reading skills as well. So you could show student B some homework from student A, and you could task them with explaining why they made different corrections to their homework, what the mistakes were, why they are mistakes, for example, etc. So what I'm trying to drive home right here is the fact that it's a big world out there. And for a long time, as I said, I kind of kept all of my students completely separated. And I still do that because it's one-to-one classes at the end of the day. But there are many different ways that you can get your students to actually interact, whether they are doing that face-to-face or not. Very good. And the third reading activity that you could do with your students is a little article search. This would be perfect, especially with your academic students, your students who are learning English for academic purposes, or those who would like to study in the future. You could even do this with IELTS academic students as a little warmer for an activity or for a lesson. So basically what you would do is task them with finding articles for a specific essay. So you could give them a prompt for an essay, like an essay question, and say, imagine you're preparing for this essay or preparing for this report and you need more information. Head on over to Google Scholar, or you could find a different database if you wish, and let your students go wild. Give them 5 to 10 minutes to go through, try to find an article or a set of articles which would be useful to them. Have them make a list in a Google Doc of maybe 3 articles, and then task them with going through these articles in more depth, reading the abstracts, and choosing 1 to eliminate and 2 to keep, right? So this is getting them to use their critical skills, so that they're not just kind of like looking at the title and saying, okay, that looks good to me, I'll throw that in there, right? Because it's not just about completing the task, it's about learning and growing at the same time. So I've used these with my students, and I find especially for higher level students, intermediate, advanced students, and particularly students who are interested in research, this could be a useful one to do. And that is it. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Before you head out, be sure to check out my Patreon account where I have 20 reading activities for you to use with your students today. By becoming a patron to my account, you could enjoy dozens of resources for as little as $1 USD per month. All you have to do is click to become a patron right here. And you could make a custom pledge for as little as $1 per month. Otherwise, you could choose to join for unlimited access to all of the resources which I have on my account. And that includes weekly uploads of syllabi and different activities and teaching resources to help you be a fantastic teacher on iTalki or whichever platform you teach on. And I would like to say that your support truly helps me to help you and to help the community here on iTalki. So thank you very much for your support. All right, and that is it in a nutshell. Thank you very much for watching as usual. Thank you so much for the support. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Keep smiling.